There are days when you wake up and the world feels heavy. The things you used to care about feel meaningless. You stare at your goals, your to-do list, your dreams, and feel nothing. No spark, no drive, just noise. And you wonder, what happened to me? Where did my motivation go? And in modern life, that happens easily. You scroll through 1,000 lives that look more successful than yours. You compare your progress to people who started in different worlds. You chase goals that were never truly yours. You confuse movement with meaning. And slowly, your brain stops believing that effort will lead to fulfillment. So it does the most logical thing in the world. It stops trying. Every time you scroll, click, refresh, check, and repeat, your brain gets a tiny spike of dopamine. It learns to expect instant reward. That's why focus feels impossible. That's why starting a big project feels unbearable. Because your brain has been conditioned to crave quick hits, instead of slow progress. You trained your mind for cheap pleasure, and it's starving for deep meaning. The good news? You can retrain it. Nothing kills motivation faster than comparison. Because you know your brain measures progress emotionally, not objectively. When you compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20, you teach your brain that you're always behind. That creates a loop called learned helplessness. The belief that no matter how much effort you make, it won't matter. Break that loop. Stop measuring success by speed, measure it by consistency. Progress isn't glamorous, it's invisible repetition. And sometimes the quiet days, the ones where nothing seems to happen, are the ones that matter most. Motivation dies in emotional chaos. When your nervous system is overloaded with anxiety, stress, or guilt, your brain diverts energy toward survival, not growth. So before you push harder, pause, breathe, ground yourself. Because calmness is not laziness, it's clarity, and clarity is fuel. The most productive people aren't those who never stop. They're the ones who know when to rest and how to reset. When you only reward yourself for winning, your brain learns that effort without victory is pain. Over time, it stops even trying. So start celebrating the process. The reps, the practice, the moments no one sees. Every time you acknowledge effort, you rewire your brain to associate action with reward. And that's how long-term motivation is built. Motivation isn't a spark that finds you, it's a fire you feed, quietly, daily, deliberately. You don't lose motivation because you're broken. You lose it because you stopped believing your actions matter. But they do. Every time you try again, every time you show up, even empty, you are rewiring your own story. You are proving to your brain that effort still creates meaning. And that belief becomes fuel. When motivation dies, people chase hacks, music playlists, coffee, quotes, deadlines, but none of those are motivation. They're adrenaline. Real motivation doesn't come from outside. It comes from alignment, when what you do finally matches who you are. The reason you feel empty is because you've been running someone else's race, chasing goals that never belong to you. So here's the fix. Stop chasing motivation. Start chasing meaning. Do one thing today that feels honest, not productive, not impressive, just honest. Because authenticity is the ultimate energy source. When your actions align with your truth, the fire returns. And this time, it doesn't burn out. You don't need to feel ready, you just need to feel real. Because the goal isn't to stay motivated forever. The goal is to stay connected to the work, to the why, to yourself. And when you do, motivation doesn't disappear again. It becomes your nature. The fire isn't gone, it's waiting for oxygen. Breathe, and, begin again. Whether you can't get motivated to clean your house or you just aren't feeling motivated to lose weight, a lack of motivation can be the biggest obstacle to reaching your goals. When you have no motivation to complete a task, or even start one, consider the possible reasons why you're struggling. Then, develop a plan to help motivate yourself to get going. Keep in mind that not every strategy works for everyone, or in every situation. Perform some behavioral experiments to see which strategies best help you reach your goals. You may be able to trick yourself into feeling motivated by changing your behavior. Act as if you felt motivated, and your actions may change your emotions. For example, rather than sit on the couch in your pajamas all day waiting for motivation to strike, get dressed and get moving. You might find that taking action will increase your motivation, which makes it easier to keep going. So ask yourself, what would I be doing right now if I felt motivated? Consider what you'd be wearing, how you'd be thinking, and what actions you'd be taking. Then do these things, and see if your motivation level increases. When you're struggling with motivation, you'll likely come up with a long list of reasons why you shouldn't take any action. You might think, it'll be too hard, or, I'll never get it done anyway. These types of thoughts will keep you stuck. Try arguing the opposite. When you think you're going to fail, argue all the reasons why you might succeed. Or when you think you can't finish a job, list all the evidence that shows you'll be able to complete the task. Arguing the opposite can help you see both ends of the spectrum. It can also remind you that an overly pessimistic outcome isn't completely accurate. There's a chance that things might work out better than you expect, and you might find that developing a more balanced outlook will help you feel more motivated to try. You might think being hard on yourself is the key to getting motivated, but harsh self-criticism doesn't work. Research shows that self-compassion is actually much more motivating, especially when you are struggling with adversity. A 2011 study conducted by researchers at the University of California found that self-compassion increases the motivation to recover from failure. After failing a test, students spent more time studying when they spoke to themselves kindly. Additionally, they reported greater motivation to change their weaknesses when they practiced self-acceptance, a key component of self-compassion. Self-compassion may also improve mental health, which can increase motivation. A 2012 study published in Clinical Psychology Review discovered that self-compassion decreases psychological distress, reduces the symptoms of anxiety and depression, and reduces the harmful effects of stress. So rather than beat yourself up for mistakes or call yourself names, create a kinder inner dialogue. This doesn't mean you need to repeat exaggeratedly positive affirmations like, "I'm the best person in the world," however. Instead, healthy self-compassion balances self-acceptance with self-improvement. Acknowledge your flaws, mistakes, and failures with honesty, but don't indulge in a pity party. Speak to yourself like a trusted friend. Ask yourself, what would I say to a friend who had this problem? You'd likely be much kinder to someone else than you are toward yourself, so start treating yourself like a good friend. Additionally, coach yourself in a helpful manner. Practice using self-talk that encourages you and helps you recover from setbacks. When you dread doing something, like walking on the treadmill for 3 miles, you'll lack motivation to do it. You can reduce your feelings of dread, however, by proving to yourself that the task isn't as bad as you think, or that you have the strength to tolerate it better than you envision. The 10-minute rule can help you get started. Give yourself permission to quit a task after 10 minutes. When you reach the 10-minute mark, ask yourself if you want to keep going or quit. You'll likely find that you have enough motivation to keep going. So whether you lack motivation to start working on a boring report, or you can't seem to get yourself off the couch to start a to-do list, use the 10-minute rule to motivate yourself to take action. Getting started on a task is usually the hardest part. Once you get going, however, it's much easier to keep going. Fresh air, a change of scenery, and a little exercise can do wonders for your motivation. Walking in nature, as opposed to a busy urban street, can be especially beneficial. A 2013 study published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine found that walking half a mile through a park reduces brain fatigue. Being in nature offers a calming effect that rejuvenates the brain, which can help motivate you to tackle a tough task. So rather than walk down a crowded street, go to the park or a botanical garden instead. Being surrounded by nature can provide the mental escape you need to return to your project feeling more motivated than before. Your emotions play a major role in your motivation level. If you're sad, bored, lonely, or anxious, your desire to tackle a tough challenge or complete a tedious task will suffer. Boost your mood by adding a little fun to something you're not motivated to do. You'll feel happier, and you might even look forward to doing the task when it's regularly paired with something fun. Here are some examples. Listen to music while you run, call a friend, and talk while you're cleaning the house. Light a scented candle while you're working on your computer. Rent a luxury vehicle when you travel for business. Invite a friend to run errands with you. Turn on your favorite show while you're folding laundry. Just make sure that your fun doesn't impair your performance. For example, Watching TV while writing a paper might distract you and slow you down even more. Or talking to a friend while you're cleaning the house might be so distracting that you can't pay attention to what you're doing. It's tough to feel motivated when your to-do list is overwhelming. If you feel like there's no hope in getting everything done, you might not try to do anything. Keep in mind that most people underestimate how long something will take them, and when they don't get it done on time, they might view themselves as lazy or inefficient. This can backfire by causing them to lose motivation, which makes it even harder to get more things done. Take a look at your to-do list and determine if it's too long. If so, get rid of tasks that aren't essential. See if other tasks can be moved to a different day. Prioritize the most important things on the list and move those to the top. You might find a slight change in your to-do list, or the way you view your to-do list, will help you to see your tasks as more manageable. As a result, you might feel more motivated to get to work. Mental health in the workplace webinar. You'll struggle with motivation as long as you aren't caring for yourself. Sleep deprivation, a poor diet, and lack of leisure time are just a few things that can make trudging through the day more difficult than ever.